we go. Welcome to a chat about fooling and clowning. And I am Holly Stoppit. I am a clown teacher and a fooling teacher and a dramatherapist, and I live in Bristol. And I am chatting with Max Cavallini. Is that how you say
it? My name is Massimo Cavallini.
Massimo.
A lot of people know me as Max.
Okay, Massimo Cavallini, who is an Italian clown and fool living in the Netherlands. And we are both, we're both clowns and we're both fools. And Massimo is about to run a workshop in the Netherlands that is about clowning through the eyes of the fool. Is that right? Or fooling through the eyes of the clown?
Yeah, the fool through the eyes of the clown.
That's it, the fool through the eyes of the clown. And so Matt's got in touch with me to have a chat about how we practice, how we bring these two archetypes together. We're both long-term students of Franki Anderson, who is the biggest fool that I know. And Franki has been, we've been going to workshops with Franki, me for 20 plus years. You, Max, how long have you been training with Franki?
25
years. And we have come together in the pandemic, at the beginning of the pandemic. Franki pulled us together along with a whole bunch of European fools and foolish facilitators to explore how fooling comes together with the work of Gabor Maté. We've been exploring compassionate inquiry and how that fuses with fooling. So if you're listening to this and going, what is fooling? What's clowning? What's compassionate? What? It's all right. We're going to get onto all of that. Don't worry about that. But just to let you know, on this call, we've got me and Max, but we've also got Franki Anderson sitting in, and we've got Lydia, and we've got Petra, who are two other members of this European foolish idiot group who we've been meeting through the pandemic. So that is a bit of context for you. And now to you, Max. We're going to dive right in with some definitions. Tell me, how do you define clowning and how do you define fooling? And what's the difference for you?
Oh gosh, that is let's say I'm starting from far away. Yeah?
Yeah.
From my background.
Yes.
The fact is that I have been studying being an actor, and in a certain moment the clowns came on my path, and I had a complete week with an Italian clown, and I came out after that week and I said, I don't like clown. It's really terrible. Is something that the pressure was a lot. The fact is that he was also really hard. No, not like so. Again. Oh, you are not funny. No, not at all. So actually, I had a week that let's say my prill clown at that moment, it was really going down. So actually I said to me, if that is clown, maybe it's not my way to go. And later on I have done some other works of clowning, and they were a little bit mild, but it was always difficult to go there. But my spirit was always light and wanting to play and wanted to be on stage and wanted to have some game, and there was always a sort of being in contact with the audience. That is one of the things that I still love, the fact of being with a clown, the fact that I'm always in contact with the audience. Mm. So actually there is a sort of through the eyes, and the fact of they having contact with the audience is always something important, because there are some rules in the clown, like, okay, if something is falling, I'm watching what is falling, I'm watching the audience, like, oh, that thing is going down, I'm going to again, and I'm watching. Yeah, that is stupid to me. So actually I understood later on how it was to work with the clown and to be in contact with the audience. But in a certain moment, because I was always afraid about improvisation, and that was for me also something that I had. I was afraid. It was always for me something like a big step to get on stage and to improvise. So actually, that was also one of the problems with the clown, because clown is always in the moment, improvising and finding always problem, and if they find a solution, maybe they have another problem, and so on and so on and so on. In a certain moment, I met Frankie and I met the fool, and after 1 week, I do remember that I came out from that experience where the fool was for me a sort of freedom to be, freedom to just to express what for me it was there. It was something like, do I need to have skill? Do I need to be a really good actor, a good clown, a good musician? Do I need to be the? No, what I need to be is me. And that for me, it was something like something to get upside down myself, that after 1 week I came out and said, yeah, that is what I want to do, what I want to be. I remember the first time that I met Frankie. I think that was the first time I was in an empty space. I was in a toilet, and I was pooing in front of an audience, and there wasn't shame at that time. There was something like, okay, I'm here, I'm doing that, and this is what I did like from the beginning.
Were you actually pooing, or were you miming?
Yeah, I've at that time I was miming. I think that at this moment I would really actually poo. Knowing myself and knowing the fool and knowing the clown, I think that I will go for the real thing. So that is the premise. Like, okay, if I'm thinking about the clown and this contact with the audience, and this eye contact with the audience, and meanwhile, sometimes I have the feeling that with the fool, I can also withdraw. I can be myself, but I always know that there is an audience if I'm fooling, and I can use also the audience because I can come forward, or I can interfere with the audience, but there are a slight difference between the fool and the clown and in the interaction with the audience. It looks to me, if I'm saying something real big, that the clown needs the audience to have support. The fool needed the audience, but it's not completely related to it to have success.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
That's the first thing that is coming to my mind about the difference. But now I would love to know a little bit your point of view.
Oh, okay. Wow, I mean, whoosh. So, what was the question that I asked? What's the difference between the clown and the fool? So, I mean, I came at clowning sort of organically, grew up in the circus and started clowning before I knew what I was doing, really. Enjoyed being able to make people laugh. And it was the contact with the audience was the thing for me about clowning. So in the circus, I did bits of everything. I did a bit of trapeze, bit of acrobatics, bit of everything. But it was the clowning that I loved the most because of the connection with the audience. I just found it so fascinating that I could, as a tiny person, I could have such a massive impact on people. And that was like really thrilling. And also the circus skills hurts, they really hurt. So, you know, after years of like, you know, dangling off ropes by my ankle and all of that, I was just like, just clowning, like, I mean, it hurts in other ways. It's not so physical, it's sort of emotionally painful. So I sort of decided to ditch the circus skills in my 20s and did a number of workshops. I did a number of kind of hard clown workshops like you're describing with your Italian clown teacher, and I didn't do very well in those classes. I did a lot of lying fetal in the corner and crying, and I had a terrible time. I had a really terrible time. And then I met Franki. I mean, I already knew Franki because Franki had done a bit of touring with the circus, so she knew me as a little girl. But I met her as a either late teen or early 20-year-old when I came to do her weekend workshop. And oh my goodness, it was the first time that I felt permission to just be myself, and for that to be enough. And it took me a while to kind of let my guard down because I was so used to this kind of pretty in-your-face clown teaching that I went in quite defended, and it took me a while to kind of relax and trust that I really could just show myself as I am. And I got so much from the conditions that Franki creates in the room, that all the safety, all the boundaries, all the explicitness. So it's all stated, there's nothing hidden, it's all here, so we can orientate ourselves within, you know, some really clear boundaries. And I just blossomed. I just went, this is good. I can be here in this world. So I did 3 months with Franki in Bristol. I did the Fool's Journey there was 15 of us in the group, going every day to Fool School, getting deeper and deeper into this form and exploring all the possibilities. And then at the end of that, we did an improvised showcase. We did 3 nights of improvised play, 5 players a night and a compare, and the whole thing was played. So like we all supported each other on those nights. So the person collecting the tickets was doing it in performance, and the person who was doing the refreshments was doing it in performance. And so we made a community, we created a community, and then we invited people into our community, and it just felt like, yeah, this is it, this is home, this feels like where I need to be, this feels like what I need to be doing. So I performed a lot for lots of different kind of performances, and then got into teaching via directing. I think I started directing clown and street theatre, and started realizing that there's these moments in creative process when people kind of reach what they perceive as their limitations. They think, all right, that's the edge. I don't know what's beyond here, so that's it. And then there's a whole load of behavior that seems to happen so that people can retain their reality. And I started getting really interested in that. I was like, why are they doing that? Because I can see there's more. I can see there's so I started trying to help people across the threshold, and into, you know, to discover like what's beyond where you think is your limitations. And so I sort of tried out lots of different things, and then went, I need some help with this, and went to train as a drama therapist. I did a master's in drama therapy, so I could really learn how to hold people through a deep inquiry. And then that sort of gave me the foundations to be able to work with anybody. So I run workshops for anybody who wants to come, really. And I'm teaching both clowning and fooling. And for me, the clown comes first. I teach the clown first because clown is all about connection. Clowning is all about finding playful connection, finding the game, and allowing yourself to be seen in your playful kind of childlike self. And that for me feels like a good place to start, to kind of help people kind of step into the light and allow themselves to be seen. And then once they've completed that training, they can do the Fool's training with me, which is my introduction to Fool, is a 5-day course, because it's complicated.
Yep.
the space of clown, the space of fool is incredibly simple, but to get there requires an awful lot of self-permission about really allowing your authentic self to be seen. And that takes a lot of time to build the trust in the group, to really establish the group as a safe container so that people can start to kind of take off the layers. And then I also bring in bits of my drama therapy training to help them find different ways to embody the masks, as we call them in fooling. So masks, also known as parts or voices, different aspects of the self. And so I bring a bit of drama therapy to help people access those parts in different ways, and to feel like they've got some tools and techniques. Then when they walk into the empty space, so in this form, fooling, you walk onto an empty stage with nothing. You've got no plan, no script, no nothing. And you just discover what's there and you play with whatever shows up. So I give them a whole bunch of tools and techniques, which once they've learned and practiced them, they sort of put them down and forget that they've got them. So it's not like a sort of, it's not a mechanical thing. I think once they've got those tools and techniques in their bodies, then all the possibilities open up for them. But yeah, I perform both clowning and fooling, and I think I mix them both in various different ways. And I think that, so I was interested in what you said there. So the clown needs the audience's support. So for me, yeah, the audience is my co-conspirator. When I'm in clown, the audience is my friend and my co-conspirator. So we're making this up together. We're taking these risks together. Shall I go here? Yeah, let's go here. So it feels like the audience is very much on board and part of my world. And with Fool, I can play with that energy if I want to play with that energy, but it's not necessary. I can allow the audience to witness. I can allow the audience to fall into the role of witness and just have their experience of watching me have my experience, which I don't think my clown could ever do that. Was that a question, Petra?
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Yeah, you're coming. Hang on.
Because when you say about the work with the fool, you said, well, there's this to embody the mask, but there is no plan, no script. And I thought, well, also with the clown, I think it can be the same with no plan and no script. But suddenly I had this picture. I don't know if it's true that the clown is much more focused on the outside. So the space, the objects, the audience, the story is there. And with the fool, I can be busy with that, but I think it's mostly from the inside. It's a different material that I have ready when I'm playing with fooling. You know what I mean?
That's really interesting. Yeah. So the clown's eyes are on the outside and the fool's eyes are on the inside.
Yeah, when I play a clown, I'm much more busy with everything that is on the outside. And when I play from the fool, I go like, okay, what do I have on the inside that I can put on stage? You know, it's a different. It's just a theory that is sort of popped up in my mind.
That's interesting. We've been exploring some site-specific fooling, so fooling in different landscapes, and we're doing a lot of outdoor fooling through the pandemic because what else can you do? So we've been looking at how the landscape can draw out different masks. So it's kind of like starting from the outside and then discovering what's on the inside. But I think I would agree with you that my clown is fascinated with outside, with objects and people, and yeah. How about you, Max?
Yeah, I was just thinking that for the first time living in Italy and knowing the clown in Italy, I was aware that clowning in Italy at that time, it was only to be courage, brave, to have a piece, to have something smashy, something that is really having the audience and bringing the audience on stage and being really great. That was, the fact is that it was, for me, I was stopping there because I felt that it wasn't my way. Every time also with other clown and other workshop, there was this sort of game, who is the best, who is making the audience laughing more at most. So actually that was for me something that I could feel that I could step back, because it's okay, I'm not going to be a clown. I'm not going to have a show or an act, or I'm not going to have something on street, because I don't have something. I don't have these things that is called an act, a show. But the fact is that when I came here to Holland, because the Fool got me free to play on stage. When I came here to Holland and I got to know the care clown, contact clown, the minimalist clown, something that is working really one-on-one, or working with little things and working with a lot of feelings also starting from inside. I got free also to play outside. I got free also to play on the plane. I got free, so okay, I'm there. I can see what is coming, and I accept every single thing that is coming. So actually, sometime with my work, I'm busy a lot with my clown work as a doctor clown, a care clown. I'm busy with a lot of stuff that is coming from outside, but sometimes I have also to deal with the emotion that is coming also from outside, or that is coming from me. Like, okay, what shall we do with these things? Like I don't know. The first things that is coming to my mind is that once I was there and I was playing for elderly people, and one of them was looking really look alike on my father, and so I was there. How can I react? How and that was. So, and I was there, and I saw the people, and I saw him, and he was really, really sad, but he was also happy to see us. So actually, I was tuning in with him, and I could be in peace also with myself, because I could, I could play the feeling. I have the feeling that sometimes clowning is something like, oh yeah, clown is clown. It is a sort of mask. Clown is clown. Clown does. Someone asked to me once, but does clown has a feeling? And I was watching. What do you think? That for me, a clown is not only always happy. The clown has a lot of range of feeling. Is that I'm exaggerating them, but they are there, and that sort of feeling are coming from inside. And still being in the moment, I never know how am I going to play them.
Yeah, I think I would agree. I think I got a lot of courage from fooling to take back into clowning, to take the feelings back into clowning. I think for me, the big difference between fooling and clowning was with fooling, I play multiple characters, multiple parts, multiple masks, and in clowning, it's just one character that can kind of encapsulate all the different energies. So, but because there's costume with clown, I use the red nose. I find the red nose keeps me in that state, in that kind of open, kind of curious, kind of wondrous state. And if I have this bit of red on the end of my nose, then somehow I remember, oh yeah, I'm in state of clown. And in the state of clown, like everything is available to play with. So anything I've experienced in my life becomes available to play with. So of course, because I've done a lot of fooling and I've really explored deeply these different parts of the self, that's all accessible in the state of clown. But it's one personality. It's just me, just clown.
I thanks to it was nice what you said about clown and being open, because my experience is that when I'm setting the clown nose, all my senses explode. They are under 20%, and it's really, and sometimes it's really difficult to keep out all the input that is coming in. I do have the feeling that if I'm fooling around, I can decide more than if at the moment I'm a clown. So there is a different awareness. I don't know. It's taking me also to the fact that with my clown, everything is possible. Everything is everything is it doesn't matter what it is, and everything is let's go with it. And if I can see a difference with fooling, I can also say, no, I'm not going to do. And I know that I'm going to block the game. But with fooling, there is these things. No, I'm not going to do. But it's coming someone else. Now, okay. What do you think about the audience? Oh, yeah, you can step back. I'm going to. I don't know. I'm going to deny the game, but at the same moment, I'm going also to play the game with a lot of other masks and a lot of other people around me.
Yeah. So in fooling, you've got some voice who says yes, I'm going to do this, and you've got some other voice that says no, you're not, and so then you can kind of play between those two different parts, and that can take you into I agree. My clown won't stop. Like I didn't get the name Holly Stoppit for nothing. Like she won't stop, and so it's always quite good to have an authority figure around, because they're really. She won't stop. There's no inner voice that goes, no, don't do that. She'll just get an idea and she goes, and she quite enjoys. She loves just pushing things too far, going too far, not stopping, and like way beyond any other rational human being would have stopped probably about 4 hours ago, but I'm still going. So yeah, I mean, I think fooling is safer in some ways because I've got like an inbuilt mechanism to make myself stop. Like I've got an inner critic who's very loud and like just spending a lot of time telling me to stop doing things. But when I'm really in the flow with clown, that I don't have that. I don't. So yeah, it can be quite dangerous. Where do you perform fooling? Have you performed fooling for like uninitiated audiences?
Mm-hmm.
Like audiences that don't know what they're walking into?
I mean, we have been in a certain moment with other fools. We have been in a traject. It was a troubadour's traject. And long awaited traject, in a certain moment, Franki asked us to have 45 minutes of show, a solo show, to do whatsoever with it doesn't, with someone that knows, someone that they didn't know, and an audience, completely different audience. So actually, I at that time I was quite keen to play, and almost immediately I had my 45 minutes of play with an audience that absolutely didn't know anything about theater, didn't know absolutely nothing about fooling or clowning, nothing at all. It was a group of young people, and it is really funny to know that my young brother was quite the initiator of my clown, because he said, "Oh yeah, you can come to play, and you can have a stage." There was more than 300 young people, age 14, 15, 16, 17. They had a meeting, a group meeting, and there I was playing my first clown on stage, and there it came also my first clown's name, because I said, okay, I don't have a clown, I don't have a clown's name. Does someone have a name for me? And there came my first clown's name. But after that, that was 10 years later, almost, my brother asked me, no, it's less than 5 years later, my brother asked me, hey, I do have a meeting with a group of people around the 20s, and I said, can I come to play an evening? So actually, that was my first 45 minutes of empty space.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you?
So actually, and later on, I did more. Like the last time, I'm not playing on empty space half. If I'm playing with the FOCI full here.
I was wondering about the framing of it for the audience. So how you frame it so that the audience understands what they're letting themselves in for. So I've got a troupe now. I've been training a number of fools here in Bristol. For some of them I've been training for like 15 years, and we've formed a troupe, and we perform in a theatre in Bristol and online for the last couple of years. And so I kind of host the nights, and I give a very clear framing to the audience so the audience know what they're stepping into, because it's so different from any other form of anything else that people have been to see, and there's something about helping people with their expectations and assumptions at the beginning of the show in order to help the audience relax into what's going on. I think because of social media, and because of Netflix, and because of YouTube, everything is fast. And fooling needs time, and it needs space, and
Yeah.
But audiences aren't used to it. And I think especially here in the UK, audiences get quite impatient and uncomfortable. And so I sort of lay that all out at the beginning. I do this big intro where I kind of give a little explanation around, what we're doing, and I give a little demonstration, and I invite the audience to be with their feelings and to let that be part of their experience. And it's quite long. It's like a 15-minute introduction to just kind of immerse people into the world of fooling, and that seems to be helping to get our audience to kind of step into our world, because it's just so different to see raw emotion on the stage. You don't see that, do you? You just don't. So what do you do around framing so that the audience know what they're watching?
I can't say that till now I made that frame. It is quite a while that I have been play. The last time that I have been playing for an audience, it was a sort of tryout that we have made with the FOCI School at the moment that we were working with one of the time that we were working. We have invited 4 or 5 people to watch, and we are going to try also in March to do that. And I remember that we didn't say a lot. The fact that we said, okay, we were help me, Lydia and Petra. Did we introduce ourselves with our audience?
Yes, we did.
And we did also give them a little bit of framing of what fooling was about. We did tell them a little bit, yeah, before we started.
Yeah, we had a sort of master of ceremony. Was Petra and Chris, or not? Yeah.
Yeah, Petra did that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
do you think Dutch audiences have got more patience and more ability to stay with the form?
Well, I think in Holland, when we use the word experiment, it helps a lot. Like, oh, it's an experiment, so I can sit back and just, well, see what you're going to do then. So there is less pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when we played with the myth and trauma, I introduced this thing that that we were still doing this research and experimenting about this connection between myth and trauma. So that was those people knew. But I had a funny a memory that when Massimo once, he had a full show in a empty swimming pool, and there was also a how you call these people that are writing something for the newspaper?
Oh, the journalist.
Yeah, there was a journalist, and afterwards he had a lot of questions, and he kept repeating that it wasn't, because we were talking about fooling and he was talking about feeling. So later on in the newspaper there was this Max the only doing feeling theater. Actually, I found it great because it was all about feelings, you know. So, that was a really good. He understood what was going on, even if he got completely wrong.
It's kind of accurate though. Feeling theatre. I think it is. I think that's what it is. It's putting feelings on the stage in a theatrical fashion.
Yeah, but also for me it's also about everyday drama, you know, the little ones, the big ones, and not just trying to make an act of it, trying to make something of it. It's just, this is what it is, this is what life is. So that's for me, what you said before, more raw. Can be a confrontation for people in the audience. So but I don't know, you know, less concerned about the framing.
What I'm thinking at this moment is that I can assume that sometimes the audience, if they are seeing me, they are coming to watch me, and there is a lot of silence, or there is a lot of movement, or there is a lot of talking, and sometimes coming out also from different masks, different personage, it can be seen as, hey, yeah, you are doing something over there. There isn't really a recognizing, like, oh, wait a moment, there is a sort of it is a deep connection with myself, and deep connection with the thoughts, and deep connection with the story, and deep connection also with the audience, because most of them recognize what I'm telling, what I'm letting, what I'm showing. So actually there are two different thoughts that one is that it is light, now okay, someone is just improvising over there, just doing a little bit things, and someone is also thinking about, hey, wait a moment, it's not like so. No, absolutely. There is a lot of
So part of the form for the people at home is it's not in stepping into the empty space. We are tuning into our own material, but if we're quiet enough and if we listen enough, then we can also tune into the audience's material. And this isn't like, it's not like an improvisation where you ask for prompts, where you're like, so tell me a setting, tell me a plan. It's not that kind of quick fire kind of style. It's more it's more on a sensing kind of feeling kind of level, that if you can really take your time to walk into the empty space and stay with that emptiness for a while, you can feel into what stories need to be played tonight for this audience in this auditorium, which might sound a bit spooky.
I often explain it nowadays that it's the empty space is it's an organized physical empty space, but it's also empty time. So it's in time and space, and if you can allow yourself to be in an empty space, in an empty time, then those parts of me that those masks of me that are usually hidden or kept away or not allowed to surface, they can gently, quietly come and have a peek. Is there anybody there? And they can come out to play. So it's the time and space together that, for me, feels essential for the fool to come out and to for the hidden masks to come out. I mean, the hidden feelings.
I still remember once that I was in Sudbury with Franki, and I still on. It was not only in Sudbury. It was more time that I was pumping myself up in the audience. Oh, now I'm going to tell that story because it's beautiful. It is really funny. Oh, it is, and I'm going to catch them, everyone, and it's going to laugh and cry and so forth and so forth. So actually, and I was there, and I was in 30 seconds. I was just empty. And that story, it was just for me a color, like, okay, now I'm stuck. What I'm doing, that now I can't tell. I did. So actually, that if I'm starting already with something from the audience, I can tell beautifully a story, but later on I'm blanco. I feel blanco. I'm not there anymore. Meanwhile, the most time where I can feel really free is if I'm going there in the space and I'm feeling and just giving movement, voice and thoughts and words to what is coming at that moment. Because it's really difficult to step out the story that is a sort of break a sort of color. You know?
Yeah. We tried some theme nights at one point. We tried working to some themes, like to come in with a theme into the space. I know that you've been exploring bringing myths into the space to explore that as a starting point. And it was interesting. I think some of my troupe really enjoyed having something. It's like some sort of parameter on what's going to happen here, and some people really kicked against having something in the space, but they inevitably ended up playing with the theme that we brought into the space, because that's what was in the space. So but yeah, it's how was it to work with myth, to sort of have something?
I was just thinking about how it was. The fact is that for me, it's really beautiful to find the moment when the myth, my story, and working also with trauma, they are coming together slowly. No? Because I'm starting to think about, okay, what is the myth, and later on, okay, but what is my story? Okay, now I'm telling the story. Oh, do there is something that has a sort of drama in the myth, and drama that I can recognize in my story. So actually, in a certain moment, they are so waving together, coming together. Because I remember that once I was exploring the myth of the Minotaurus, and in one moment I was thinking about myself and thinking about my time in the kindergarten. So actually I put a teacher, and I put me as a young one of 5, but there was also the Minotaurus, and there was also Ariadne, and there was also Jesus. I don't know why. There was also Jesus as,
why not?
as a 5 years old, and I was playing all of them, and it was really okay. How do I came there? And it was not only for me, but it was also for Petra and Lydia and Chris, that sometimes something is coming out of the blue, out of nowhere, out of things that is, okay, wait a moment, what happened if there is things that I'm putting these things together, and now I'm mixing them and I'm putting something else that is coming a completely new recipe and a new story, but always connected with me and my feeling and my way of being.
How is it for you, Lydia and Petra, to have something in the space, to have a myth in the space?
Well, what I enjoyed the most, and also the last time we did repeat that exercise, because then we have the story just to begin with. And some of them have been reading the story, others not. So I'm coming here full blanco. And then we do this game that we try to tell the story, and we are walking around the empty space, all 4 of us. And someone jumps in the middle, just tells a little bit, and then it's out, and then. But once we start to do that, then our own stuff is getting in as well. So it starts to be a huge pot where all the material is going in, and inspiration comes from the others as well. So that's really nice way to explore it, because yes, there is the structure of the story, and there are all our stories in it. And later on, when we start to, we give ourselves 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, 20 minutes sometimes for solos or duet. And there is still this mix. And I enjoy that a lot, because the myth triggers my stories triggers parts of the myth or the story that we are working on. And actually, when we were playing with Miss, of Miss, well, it's one of the stories written by in the book of when women wrote Rooted.
The madness.
Yeah, the madness of Miss. And actually, at a certain point, all kind of stories of us came out about what madness means in society. And how do we put away people that are mad? And then personal stuff is coming in, and then the myth gives every time a sort of extra flavor to all that we are doing. So yeah, I really enjoy to work this way. It gives a bit of structure, but there is a lot of freedom, because being a fool, well, sometimes it goes a complete different direction. Going, okay, let's go there now and explore that path. We don't have to be loyal to the story, It's an inspiration.
How about you, Lydia?
Yeah, I remember last time I was playing. So I often like to, from a story or a myth, I like to zoom in on one of the characters, and I start to tell the story from there. And so I was the woodsman who was ordered to take Snow White into the woods and kill her and bring back the heart. And so this woodsman has never been someone for me in that story, but suddenly he was there with his very weighty body and his heavy boots, and he was always very touched by the innocence of this child, and now he had to take her away and kill her, which which he refused to do, but he did send her away into the woods, and he couldn't. He killed a deer and he brought that home, but he was totally broken by the fact that he had to do such an awful thing. So he sort of lay there on his couch in his hut, and then the queen came by because she wanted to know, oh, well, did you do it? And show me the heart. And then apparently they had a sort of an affair, it appeared. But he couldn't relate to her anymore. He just couldn't look at her, and so that was a totally new story that emerged from just zooming into that character.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was it was a very, very unexpected experience for me to be this heavy man.
Thanks for that. I've been wondering what happened, and now I know.
Yeah. So the stories gets new depths and new
So I'm back to thinking about clown, Max.
Yeah.
I'm back to thinking about, so that was you guys exploring what happens when you throw myth into the mix. So what happens when you throw clown into the mix?
Oh gosh.
I remember the exercise, Max, that you said to us, okay, you 4 times enter the stage. 1 time as a clown, 1 time as a fool, 1 time as a buffoon, and 1 time as a Arlequin, yeah. And actually, the 3 of them, they had a really clear way of doing, you know? Like, okay, clown is coming in and there is a banana, and well, in a clown way, you do something with a banana. And all of us more or less had the same or similar way of doing with the characters. But once the fool came in, 3 complete different stories there with other type of character, because well, what a fool does with a banana, you know, it can be anything. And I had the same when we were talking about this, exploring the myths and stuff. It goes way beyond what clown can do, because it's I mean, it's brilliant in its way of being, and there are different clowns, of course, but the fool gives me a vast area of where I can go, you know. I don't know, it's a yeah,
I agree. You can go beyond the stars.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, I enjoy it. Massimo invited me 2 weeks ago to go clowning with him, and I enjoyed it very much, because I felt so free just to be with those people and really have fun with those people in the daycare where they were. It was brilliant. But it's there in that moment with those people, sharing the contact, you know, with whatever. But fooling is sharing, well, this whole world that can be there on stage. Yeah.
Got a message coming in from Frankie. Here we go. Do you know you're muted?
Unmute.
Unmute. Welcome, Frankie.
I couldn't unmute myself. Okay, I've got a question.
Okay.
My question is, can fool be clown and can clown be fool? Thank you.
Is that it? Will you come back in a minute and tell us what you've been thinking once we've answered this question?
Maybe.
Okay. All right. Can clown be fool? Can fool be clown? Do you want to start, or shall I, Max?
Okay, that is my searching. That is also the chat that we have is also for me to maybe to get hold to something, but I'm also free, or I feel free to let it go, that there isn't no difference. I know that there is, for my clown, I can say there is much more, there is a frame where I'm playing with. If I'm playing with clown, that frame, I'm not feeling it if I'm playing with fool. I feel much more the freedom to move, and that's why the question you, Frankie, posed, it's also the fact is that I'm also experimenting be a clown without that frame, without the frame of the nose.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that is opening up my view, is opening up in a way that I can really feel the strength of being open as a clown, being open, saying yes or not, seeing always problem ahead of me, but seeing only solution. This is something that the clown is looking for solution. He's stepping out always in the problem. He's always saying yes, 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 and that it helped me also in my life, in my daily life. Like the fool, it helped me in my daily life, because in the beginning, also with the first circle, I still remember the fact that Frankie brought in the talking in high, and I still remember that after 1 week, the first question she said, "How are you?" Stupid question. How are you? Fine. And Frankie was slowly getting further. Okay, what there is on the back of that fine? What there is some feeling on the back over there. So actually there are something that is I still like a life way of living. The fool is for me also. I have been married a fool, and and we are also and in the way of chatting in high, the way of taking responsibility for what I'm saying and what I'm doing, the way, and so I have been trying to clown as a fool and other way around, and I have been trying also making a little act of 5 minutes, 5-6 minutes with an open podium with Patrick van der Boom. And there I have been trying more of this stuff about fooling and clowning. And one of the last time I was clowning as a fool.
How was it?
I had the feeling, but that was my feeling, that the audience wasn't prepared for that.
It's hard to tell on Zoom though, isn't it? It's so difficult to feel.
Yeah, I know it's difficult to feel, but you know, I don't know. The fact is that I came in like almost a clown before, and I came in an empty space, and the fact is that I did have different nose, and so in a certain moment I have been playing different character with different nose and thinking about. But later on, there was this loneliness that got me in. And I was coming towards. I say, okay, yeah, it looks that I'm here alone, or I'm alone here with my loneliness. So actually, the clown got into feelings and got in a set of things that I can recognize as a fool. But yeah. it looks to me that I need to prepare my audience before to work on that.
Yeah,
I'm ready. I'm ready because I can have both, and I can step in and out, and I can make contact with the audience or not. I'm, but it is really yeah. I will say, to be clown and fool and clown, I have the feeling that I'm walking on eggs.
I wonder what those eggs are made out of.
Absolutely.
Is it the way you spoke about fooling there before, and you were talking about the environment that Franki creates, with the, there's a few basic fundamentals in a Franki space, which is, Max was just talking about speaking in the eye. So all of us are speaking on our own behalf, not speaking for anybody else, and taking responsibility for ourselves and our own emotions. And that's all like stitched into the work of the Fool. This is all the stuff that Franki has been pioneering, and it feels that it's really multi-layered. So it's not just about the performance. Fooling isn't just about the performance, but it's about being in a community. It's about being in a community of people who are consciously taking responsibility for themselves and being compassionate witnesses to each other. So I wonder that there is something about, I wonder how does that go with clowning, which can, clowning can be really smashy and splashy and not so careful. I wonder if there's anything in that is kind of making the two worlds, where the eggshells are coming from, whether there's some kind of...
I think it has to do with expectations from the audience.
Say more.
Well, I'm just thinking, because if I think now about what my clown can do, I don't know, it has something to do with being aware of that responsibility, being aware of me, what I am doing, what I'm proposing, what I'm... I think for the little bit of experience that I have with clown, I feel more rich. But it's anyway, with playing now, even acting on stage or whatever, I can be much more, I trust much more myself, where I am in that moment. I'm losing thread now. What was your question?
wait, because I do have my experience is that if I'm playing as a clown, the audience give me attention, but give me permission on doing things or being things that normally they are not accepted.
Yeah, I was thinking about expectations. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that the time that I was playing, being fool and clown, the audience was prepared to see me as clown, and the expectation was being a clown, and they gave me the permission to be a clown. And like, if I'm going to work, if I'm going to play with people with dementia or people with a disability, they say, "Oh yeah, okay, you are a clown, so you can do whatever you want." But if I'm not having that sort of things, it will be really difficult to act, to be, and to play like I'm doing.
I wonder how much of the permission does come from the audience and how much of the permission comes from you as the performer, because I think in my experience, the audience will buy anything if I'm confident enough to or clear enough in the framing, I guess, the audience would they're interested. They're interested. And I think I've been smashing the two together forever. I think the clown energy is my go-to. It's the first energy that I access, because that's where I feel safe. I feel safe in connection with an audience. I feel safe making connection, seeing everybody, being here in the room, being with all the things, blah, 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 that's my safe place, which is also, you know, the commentator. So it's also, you know, the same kind of realm. So I feel like I do bring a lot of clowning into my fooling, because that it's such an automatic place for me to go to make myself feel safe. And then, you know, when we've all had a laugh, we've all connected, then I can step back into the being space, and then I can start to find some more fragile masks or some more vulnerable masks, but not until I've made friends with everybody here in the audience, which is what my clown is really good at.
Yeah.
And then, then the other way around, you know, I feel like my clown accesses all the emotions that fooling has given me access to, but so my clown can get hold of all of that.
Yeah. I feel for me, if I can think the way that the time that I'm playing both, I can say when I'm fooling, I can give myself the permission, to be fool or to be clown, or to step in and out. I have more difficulties to do that if I'm only clown.
Lydia, do you have a question? Because you're muted.
I'm imagining, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. That if I'm fooling and I step into the clown, that the clown will be one of my masks, but I will feel limited if I have to stay in that mask. I will jump in and out and go into another mask, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if as a fool I can be completely a clown. I don't know.
Yeah. What I'm for my experience is that I can bring the awareness. If I'm fooling, I can bring the awareness of my clown in it. Not completely the mask, but the awareness of playing with the audience, playing with a sort of feeling, playing with a sort of boundaries, like a clown will do. So also without being really a clown, but I know that I can have two different energy, two different awareness of it.
Frankie, what's your thoughts on, can a clown be a fool? Can a fool be a clown?
Well, I think Max answered that one, and if I put it in my simple way, is that a fool can be anyone, because the fool is nothing.
Ha!
So it can be a queen, can be the cleaner, can be an actor, can be the toilet sweeper. The fool can be anyone, including a clown or a trickster or a heyoka or a jester, or the king's fool, or whatever. The clown, the fool can also be a wise fool and a stupid fool. So there is no, I mean, if you're talking about doing shows and needing to frame a fool show, everybody is going to frame their fool show according to what their fool is putting on. There isn't a fool show. And that's why an audience does need to be introduced in some way to what is this fool or this group of fools doing with theatre or with dance or with art or with music or with anything. So what Max said about putting the clown nose on, it gives permission because it's already a form. That's a frame. You give that frame to the audience. And I know when I first started doing my Fool show that I always wore the same costume. When I was a clown, I wore a different costume every time I went on stage almost. I was constantly changing my costume, like I changed my clothes on a, you know, maybe 3 days I wear my clothes and then I change them. And but for my Fool, I kind of felt like, well, there's nothing for the audience to hold on to. I can't tell them what I'm going to do or how I'm going to be or who I'm going to be, because it's not, there's no form there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a ridiculous costume and I will wear that. I'll put it on my poster and I'll wear the costume, and then they got something to hold on to. Oh, it's the picture in the poster. I feel safe now. And I think that Holly's saying about feeling safe, that go-to place that one feels safe in, and we need to make our audience feel safe enough to take them into dangerous places. But the Fool isn't anybody. The Fool isn't a character, but the Fool can play any character, including the clown, whereas the clown plays the clown. Can I stop there?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And I like that, yeah, just each Fool plays in their own way and needs to work out what their framing is to help an audience into their world. And
that can change. So for instance, I've been, you know, more recently just doing my lunar show, which is to walk onto the into the empty space with nothing. Whereas my next show is going to be 8 shows on the same story, but from, like Lydia was saying, from a different angle.
But isn't the commentation line, that neutral figure that sometimes can tell the audience what's going on, isn't that part of the frame as well, like the nose?
Well, I looked at the Commedia dell'arte, and in the Commedia dell'arte, because Italy didn't have one language, they had lots of different languages, so they needed somebody to translate what was going on the stage, because all the performers spoke in different dialects and whatever. So that there was always that, and Arlecchino was often usually that person. But it's a bit like when we were playing in Spain as the troubadours. Bernie was our commentator because he spoke Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of us could then speak in German, English and Dutch. And it didn't matter, because there was somebody there that when it was necessary to do a translation, there was someone there to do it. That's the role of the commentator, to be the bridge between what's going on the stage and the audience. And in the world of the Fool, the commentator is also the part of us that has the overview. We are neither in the audience nor on the stage. We're not attached to the drama. We're not identifying with any of those characters. But because we don't identify with them, we can step into them and play them completely fully, because we know that we can step out. We're not attached to them.
Yeah,
and
that's what I mean.
That's a rare space.
That's what I meant with, that's also a frame if you talk about safety for the audience. Because it can...
But that's true for any theatre. You need to provide a safe container for the drama or the trauma, which I think is the same thing, for that to actually emerge and be able to play itself out. We need to make a safe container.
Mm-hmm. So I just want to say, for the uninitiated, for the people that don't know, the commentator, so in this form of fooling, there's like there's a kind of a line along the front of the stage where the performer can step onto at any point. They can stop whatever they're doing back there, they can step out of the story, they can step out of the drama and come and communicate directly with the audience, and as themselves without kind of character on top of it. I just wanted to give you a little bit of frame of reference there. But I think because I think a lot of me is clown. I think that is largely what comes out on the commentation line, because I am clown. There's quite a lot of clown in me. So I feel like that's my commentator has a tendency towards clown. Not all the way, not like silent kind of non-verbal kind of chaos meister, but definitely kind of very, very engaged with the audience and very looking for the game. Lydia, you're muted.
I always seem to forget about the commentation line. I hardly ever use it. Yeah.
Some of my troupe, I've got one person who just only uses it, who just takes a chair to the commentation line and sits there and tells a story, which I love. So Max, how close are we?
Sorry, I want to get away from the line.
Oh yes.
I really want to get away from the line, because it's the point where it's easiest to connect with the audience is as close as you can get without putting the audience on the stage, without them feeling in the drama, that they're still the audience. So it's an energetic line, but it's only the easiest place to connect with the audience from, to directly connect. You can do that from the back of the stage, you just have to work harder.
Yeah.
But it's about the difference between communicating directly with the audience, which could have a tendency to be clown, because the clown communicates directly with the audience. That's the nature of the clown. But it can also be a storyteller. It could be a news reporter. In the world of the fool, that persona that has the overview can be anybody. It could be a nurse who's reporting, well, this person's only got a few months left to live, and I've been asked to pay attention to their painkillers and whatever. That's a commentary. So it's there's a lot of freedom there, but the to commentate is to talk about, which is like one of the first things that we learn in fooling is when am I talking about something, when am I reporting on something, when am I telling the story, or when is it the narrative, and when am I being it? When am I being the person who's got 3 months to live and is in a lot of pain and wants the nurse to come and do something about it? When am I being the nurse who's feeling like, oh God, if I get the medication wrong, that there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on inside a nurse. And there's a difference between being those characters and being in the story and telling the story, reporting on it.
Yeah.
It's the difference between being at the cricket match and listening to it on Radio 4.
Yeah. And that, part of the practice, I think, is really developing the awareness of your own language. So noticing when I'm reporting on what's going on, and noticing when I'm in it, and in that moment, if I notice I'm reporting, then I come out of that spot and then I can commentate on what's going on there. But I think that awareness takes a while to develop with that language.
But it's about awareness. It's about bringing the audience into an awareness, and it's about bringing yourself into an awareness of what's happening in the audience. It's the point of communication. It's when our neuroceptors get to be clarified, because the audience's neuroceptors and our inner neurobiology are constantly talking to one another. We're trained to ignore it because we're supposed to be grown-up human beings that don't respond to all these things that are going on in our biology. But when we come to meet the audience in this commentation place, it's when we name what's happening in the neuroception world, what's really going on. So if a dog could speak when it meets another dog, what would it say? Rather than all the different things that, you know, they run around, they get around the back of them, and the little dogs are really dangerous because they can get at the neck of the bigger dog, and all the messages that are going on. They can't do the commentation thing. We can do a commentation to go, actually, these two dogs have known one another for years, and they've been playing this silly dance for ages and ages, you know, which may or may not be true. But dogs can't lie. But when we as players stop lying to our audience and own what's really going on between us, then we've got something really magic. Mm. And that's the real purpose of that place of meeting the audience, which we call commentation. It's about a way.
So we've come around to the commentation line. I feel like we're coming near to the end of this discussion. But Max, I want to pass it back to you because you initiated this conversation, and just to see where you're at with all of this now.
For me, it's I can get a lot of information because my thought at this moment is, okay, in almost 2 weeks' time, next weekend, I give a workshop. I'm facilitating a workshop with 13 people. There are quite a lot. I'm really happy. And I thought, okay, I want to mix them both. And I have been thinking about the foolish clown, or the clown's foolish, or now is the fool through the eyes of a clown, because I'm a clown, I'm also a fool. And I'm thinking, but I want to, after 2 days, I would love to give just a looking between both of them, and I'm thinking sometime, okay, how can I use the same exercise, the same game, the same music, the same things, but to give them the fact that they can experience both of them. If I don't, and how can I do that if I don't know the difference between them, or that they are so mixed together that I confuse myself in how to facilitate these 2 days. Because meanwhile, Franki was talking about, I thought, oh, that is a beautiful game. That is a beautiful exercise. Oh, I can have all that. So I'm making up game and exercise. Meanwhile, we were talking about, because it's really giving me a lot of information. It's giving me a lot of thinking and thought. I was walking yesterday, and in a certain moment, I was listening to a music and said, "Oh, but if I'm doing so, if I'm giving that, okay, that can be a difference between one character and the other, between the clown and the." So actually, the fact of letting them to taste, to have the taste of it. I would love really to do that. But I needed to be, I have the feeling that I have been calling this meeting to clarify myself, or to get a little bit the mist between the two things, because later on there isn't only these two things, because I'm also interested in Buffon and Alekhine, and they are all of four. They are archetypes of us. Yeah.
But yeah, and it's a 2-day workshop, so it sounds like a taste of the clown and a taste of the fool, and it would be a wonderful experiment.
Yeah.
I want to hear about it, please.
Yeah. I'm calling also an experiment, and I'm going to be really clear also with them, because I have the feeling that I would love to experiment more with this matter, and but we will see. I'm getting butterfly in my stomach slowly, and
so for people who are interested in this workshop, and Max, I'm going to put his details in the description of this video, so you get to find out more about what's going on in the world of clown and fool. Has anybody got anything they want to say before we finish the recording?
It's been a very interesting conversation. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, me too, very much.
Me too, me too.
Me too.
Thanks, Max, for calling it.
Let's have the me too.
That's how we say me too in our world. Viewers, thanks for sticking with us, and see you again soon. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.